It's Gail. Today is August 26th, and I thought it would be a good time to take a late August tour of my backyard garden. Let's go. So from that aerial view, you could see kind of how my garden is set up. This is the lower part of my garden, right off we have a deck right here. So this lower bed is always kind of a work in progress, mostly perennials, but I have a couple annuals in here. This is a Superbena plum wine, Proven Winners. This is doing really great this time of year. It slows down when it's really hot in July, but a lot of things now, a lot of the annuals are really picking up with the cooler weather in August, and we've had a very cool August, but I love the color of this verbena. Everything's really wet because it rained last night. Mostly things are just foliage right now in this garden. Not a lot is blooming. This geranium Azure Rush is still putting out some blooms. It's kind of finding its way all around the garden. It likes to creep. It should be good, actually. It should take over a little bit of this area that's just kind of bare. Over here, we've just got some geum, some grasses, some heuchera, clematis. Nothing's really blooming. These lilies are all done. Hostas in the back are putting up a nice show of purple blooms. Sometimes I cut the flowers off of hosta because I just like to see the foliage, but those do add a little bit of color in it. I'm not going to cut those back. So in the garden on this side, I've got a few annuals which are doing pretty good now. This is a Supertunia latte. It's got these nice white flowers with a deep, almost black throats. I've got another one of these Superbena Royale plum wine over here, which is also doing well. So I've got a bunch of gem marigolds that I planted from seed and just put in this little box. Everything's kind of flat here though. I gotta figure out what I want to put in this box next year. Something with a little more height, I think. Here's my basket of gold, which is just growing by leaps and bounds. I really love this plant. There's a weed hiding down in there. Over there. Found something. Oh, look. This is an obedient plant, or Physostegia, which is just starting to bloom. Oh, I really love these. These have the coolest blooms. I've got them planted all along this wall here. So cool. The blooms kind of grow in a square. Here's a look at what the bud looks like for these. I don't know if you can tell how they just have like sort of like different sides around them. Physostegia. So this is a border that I plant every year. This year I planted it with Superbena Peachy Keen verbena. Really cool color. Diamond Frost Euphorbia, Laguna Sky Blue Lobelia. And then it keeps repeating down here. So I've got another Superbena Peachy Keen, another Euphorbia, another Lobelia. My goal is to put things here that will sort of cascade over the wall. I do have this perennial vinca that just comes back every year. It's a super strong, persistent plant. That always comes over the wall, which I love. The rest of the plants did not do too much of coming in over the wall this year. I think I'm gonna try here next year like a Supertunia Vista bubblegum or something like that. But I do love the colors of the peach and the blue and the white this year. My coneflowers here, something's still eating them. They look a lot better since I cut them back though. They seem to be coming back a little bit better. Look at the color on that echinacea coneflower. Gorgeous. Oh, I see a gorgeous yellow one too. Let's go take a look. The color on that is just so stunning. I don't think they're getting as much bug damage as they were earlier in the summer. There's another one down there. Oh, this is such a pretty color. And these really didn't get any bug damage. Interesting. These white ones, these are Echinacea Marry Me. So this is a Proven Winners Oh So Easy Italian Ice Rose. It is the third year I've had it. It's starting to get a little bigger. It's putting out a new flush. It has these really pretty flowers that just change color. They go from like a yellow to a peach to a pink. That one's kind of fading now. has a new bud. The buds are really pretty too. This is a Boom Chocolata geranium. Love that color. It's a really pretty, almost iridescent purple color, and I love the foliage. It's just a really deep brownish green color. At the top of these steps, I have two planters that are the same. They're doing really nicely. I cut them back a few weeks ago. I think the winner in this pot is the verbena. This is a Proven Winners Superbena Sparkling Rose. The lighter petals on the outside and the darker in the center. I really think this is a cool verbena, and it's just really the star of this pot. Although I will say, this pink flamingo crazy tunias is so gorgeous. I cut it way back because it didn't look very good, and it's really come out again very nicely, much bigger and healthier looking. I'm gonna definitely look for these again next year. I think I'm gonna put like several of them in a pot because they're definitely not as vigorous as the Proven Winners Super Tunias. But I just love this color, and I love the yellow star in the middle of the pink. Graceful Grasses Fireworks is an awesome plant as well. And you know, they are in those little containers that Proven Winners put out this year that you plant the whole container so you don't take them out of the pot they come in. And it's really controlled the size to a nice size. When I had this before, they were like 4 feet tall. These are more like 2.5 to 3 feet with the little fronds, but it's just such a pretty plant with so much movement in it. So I really love these containers, and that's a Sweet Caroline lime, sweet potato vine. The tomatoes are doing great. We've had a couple tomatoes off this plant already. We've got a whole bunch on here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A couple new ones starting at the top. These are really looking nice. Really happy with these in the grow bags. This is one I planted from seed. Got this really weird shaped tomato in here. I don't know if you saw my earlier video about planting sunflowers in July, but I started some sunflowers mid-July, hoping these get to the bloom stage. Fingers crossed we won't have an early frost, and I'll get to see some flowers on these. If not, it was a fun experiment to try them. Started later in the summer. I just never got to them this year. These black-eyed Susans are nonstop all summer. I had these for so many years. I don't know what variety, but they're just like a gorgeous, classic black-eyed Susan. There's just so much to love about those. My seed dahlia garden is doing great. I showed this in my dahlia video. I'll link that at the end if you want to see more of the seed dahlias. But this kind of double red one is kind of cool. So many different colors in here. It poured, so a lot of these are kind of damaged right now. This is a really pretty one. Ooh, look at that. Here's a cool one. Looks like red with the yellow on the ends. Seed dahlias don't always come out like perfect looking like the dahlias you buy from tubers, because you just don't know what you're gonna get, but they just are really fun. Really, really fun. This garden over here, I cut way back these Prairie Sun Rudbeckia. It's really pretty with the green centers. I've got some gem marigolds in here that self-seeded themselves from last year. I did not plant these because I love gem marigolds. I could have like a whole yard full of gem marigolds. These are Zinnia Jazzy Mix. This is a better patch of them over here, actually. So, look at that color. That's super cool. So in the future, I'm definitely going to plant a bigger patch of these. I didn't plant that many of them. These are pretty small plants and short flowers, but they're just gorgeous for the garden. I definitely want them again next year. Chinese forget-me-nots. I didn't really know what to do with these. I need to stake these next year. I did not stake them. They're fun for bouquets. They really wilt when I first pick them, but after about 12 or 24 hours, they perk back up. But the blue is so intensely blue. I'm just really enjoying that blue color. Also, the other thing that I really love this year that I'll definitely plant again is this ageratum. And I do love to put this in bouquets. This is a really pretty cut flower. I did have a whole dahlia tour. Like I said, I'm going to link that here. The dahlias back in the backyard here are not putting out as many blooms as the dahlias in the front yard, and I'm sure that's because of the amount of sun they get. The ones in the front yard definitely get more sun. This was an experiment. I definitely will plant dahlias again here. I just need to have sort of the expectation that they're not going to be as floriferous as the ones in the front, but I love these silver ears. These are just super pretty dahlia. Just like this white and pink kind of just gorgeous. This is Dahlia Roban Regal. Really pretty red with yellow. Love that dahlia. So this is Agastache Raspberry Daiquiri. It's pretty short. This is a perennial I planted from seed this year. I expect it to get taller in future years, but it's only about, I'd say, like 8 to 10 inches tall right now. Super pretty color though. So I haven't really been able to use this as a cut flower at all. I would love it just to fill in this area. I think it's just a really pretty raspberry color, so that's cool. I got some seedlings in here I did with winter sowing. There's some Prayer Sun Rudbeckia, and there's some more of the Physostegia. I planted them super late. Physostegia is definitely a perennial, so that will come back. The Rudbeckia Prairie Sun, I think it's an annual. It's a hardy annual, but I think it comes back because it reseeds. I'm not 100% sure, so if it doesn't flower, it may not come back. But that will be an experiment to see if it does. But could still flower. We still got another month and a half or so, which it could still flower, maybe even 2 months. So, but this stuff is doing good, and the rabbits are leaving it alone. The rabbits seem to have died down, maybe literally. Got this rock and blue suede shoe salvia. My salvia are not. It does have a bunch of buds now, but they've not been blooming nearly as much this year as they have in the past. This is the color of them. It's just a great color, and it usually attracts so many hummingbirds. That's why I grow it, because I love to see the hummingbirds. Also, it's, you pay $6 for this plant. It gets to be like a shrub. Unfortunately, you got to plant them every year, but it does put on a lot of size. I like that. I have 3 of them. One over here as well. These are the 2 new hydrangea paniculata bobo that I planted this year. These were from Bluestone Perennials, and they look really healthy. This one put out 2 blooms. This one put out 1, but now it's got some new ones too. So this one's putting on some size. I really am hopeful that these are going to do well. I know they were so small in like a little 4-inch pot when I bought them. But I think they're going to do well, and I think they're going to be great in this garden. This guy is awesome. This is the Firelight Tidbit. I know it should put on more bulk as time goes on, but right now the flowers are beautiful. They come out white, and then they fade to this beautiful creamy pink color, and then more reddish as well. But it's just gorgeous. We've got these, what I call heirloom lilies, because they came from my mother. These beautiful red ones that just will not quit. They just keep going and going and going. I'm so happy about that. It does this weird thing where it puts out these little kind of plants at the top of these long stalks, and then those bloom as well. So just kind of cool. I expect this to keep going for a while. Got some deadheading to do over here as well. Take these off of here. That's the thing about these, you gotta constantly deadhead, but it's worth it because the color is so pretty. So this is Agastache Rose Mint. This is super pretty. I don't know how easy it is to see on the video. It's almost this like iridescent purple color. I don't know why it's called Rose Mint. It's a really pretty color. These are awesome for bouquets, and they smell amazing. It's kind of like a minty smell. So that's the mint part of the name. I don't know what the rose part is about, because to me these are decidedly purple, but these have some height. These are at least 2 feet tall, and I can see that these are just going to fill in this little swath of the garden really nicely. Those I planted from seed this year, and they are perennial, so really excited. I'm trying to add more perennials to my garden. I love growing annual cut flowers, but I need to add some more perennials as well to make the gardening a little bit easier in the spring. This is a dwarf butterfly bush. Do we have a tag for this? I'm going to put the name on the screen because I don't remember. It's a proven winner. This is the 3rd year I have this. It took me a while to figure out. Like last year, I didn't really know what to do. I did not prune it last year. I just kind of let it go, and it did not have as nice of a flush. This year, I cut it almost back to the ground, and it's just blooming like crazy. You don't have to, but I do deadhead this. I got to get out here and do that. And you can see, it keeps putting up these new bloom stalks. It's usually covered in butterflies as well. I just love the color of this purple with the little tiny yellow dots in the center. I think that's really cool looking. So let's look at, this is just a cut flower garden. I can't really see it that much from anywhere other than if I walk over here, but it's got a bunch of zinnias. And then at the front, I just had some extra room this year, so I put a couple dahlia tubers in there as well. I can see a silver years. I'm not sure what the other ones are, but I'm gonna have to get down there and stake them because the silver years is down on the ground. So this garden has a lot of liatris. Oh, look at the gorgeous butterfly. There's two of them. Should be on butterfly bushes. There he goes. So cool. And here, these are the Madam Butterfly bronze with white. It's a pretty color. They're doing okay. They're not doing great. I mean, they're blooming, but I don't know why my snapdragons just bloom at the top, not along the stem. I usually feel like I see people's snapdragons on YouTube that are just more robust. These just don't seem to be very robust. I may not do snapdragons next year. They're just not, maybe it's my conditions here in my garden, I don't know, but they don't seem to be doing super good. Flowers that they do produce are gorgeous. These are the open kind of snapdragons. I think this is the same, Madam Butterfly. This is more liatris, and I cut those all back. I gotta cut back the ones in that front garden. They look so much better once the blooms are dead if you just cut the blooms off. I do have some butterfly weed in here that I planted, oh gosh, 3 years ago from seed, but this one's got a bunch of pods on it. This is the last kind of agastache that I planted. This is agastache apricot sprite. These are also fairly short. They're kind of in between the other two agastache that I planted. Again, I planted these from seed. They are perennial. They just have a really cool flower. They're orange and they've got a little bit of, I don't know if the stamens are pink. Something's a little bit pink, but I really like the color of them. Apricot Sprite, and I expect these to fill in this area and be a nice little bed of agastache. And lastly, we're trying to develop this little area. This gets super weedy. We weed whack it. There's some tubing running through here, so you can't lawn mow. It's really not a lawn anyway, it's mostly weed, but we're gonna try to get rid of most of the weeds along here and turn this into more of a cultivated area. We just bought this new Proven Winners Limelight Hydrangea because I want to have some height here. I look up at this kind of area where you can see the neighbor's house. It's kind of weedy back there. That's actually not our property. Got this new Limelight Hydrangea, which will grow super big, and I bought it with no buds, but it's coming out with buds. We dug the hole last weekend, but we just haven't had time to plant it, so I just put it in there and put some tubing around it. And left it for the week, and it's doing awesome and putting out lots of buds, so I'm actually really excited it's going to bloom this year. I've got some other shrubs that I'm going to get in the ground today. These 3 shrubs that I got from Home Depot, half price on clearance. This is a dwarf, little giant dwarf arborvitae. I got these 3 because I liked the color contrast. This is a really blue juniper blue star, and these were like, I feel like they were like $8 each. They were really on clearance, and I just wanted a little more evergreen color back here. This guy is called a false cypress golden mop. So they're not going to be planted all together like this. I have them all together because I had some tubing out here that was around some other plants that we took out, so I just wanted to put the tubing in the pots, but we're going to kind of spread them around this area. But we're going to get those in there today. This is a super hard place to plant. There's tons of roots. That tree stump is from a huge maple tree that was rotting that we had taken down about a year and a half ago. But the roots run deep all through this area. We had to use like a hacksaw to get this hole dug over here. This is a hydrangea that was a sort of self-made hydrangea. It's a big leaf blue hydrangea. It was a plant that just had a branch that touched the ground and it put down roots. I dug it up, and it's doing really great. It did not flower this year. but I expect it's gonna do great. We just moved it to this spot. It was farther over here, but it's gonna get more shade. It's gonna like this spot better. So just getting on with the development of this backyard. This is a view from this side, the neighbor's house, our house, and just the different garden areas that we have that we're developing over time. So I hope you enjoyed that walk around my garden on August 26th. It's always so fun to just see what's growing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.